stoking the fire.
Ah!
Mine's still, I'm still going.
Gotcha. What?
Oh, we're not cheersing?
You're still drinking.
You're still drinking.
Why so awkward?
It is awkward, eh? Howdy. We're in Kenny's shed. This is the last take, and we're just going from here.
Okay.
Alright. This is one of those cliche videos of being on the road for over 12 months. Originally I didn't really want to do it, but it's for our memories in the future anyway, so we're going to do it.
It's good to have a little wrap up and just like the good things being going back and thinking about everything we've done is pretty cool.
And to look back on it on years to come and think,
how the years changed.
We were totally wrong. So we're down in Augusta, just in Kenny's place, in his shed, because it's nearly the end of November and it's still
So cold.
pissing rain and windy. But yeah, we've done 12 months on the road, and it's gone pretty good. We worked 5 months of the year. We did a farm sit for 1 month and travelled for 6 months. We're not really set on any sort of around Australia continual trip sort of thing.
No.
We're just semi-retired at 40, nearly 40.
Not 40 yet.
And yeah, just want to try and find a routine that works for us, and this is going to be our life for the foreseeable future. We haven't really had any homesickness sort of thing.
And I think the good thing like that we've gotten a lot better at, and like that I value more now, is the time at home.
Yeah.
Like when we are at home, I try to make the most of it with the nieces and nephews and going to their sports days and, you know, all that stuff that if I was at home working a full-time job, wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And hanging out with our parents and grandparents and whoever, family and friends that we don't really get to see even on a normal day-to-day life as much, and you can sort of have that time with them. But yeah, the 12 months has been good. We started the journey with about 50 grand in the bank. Our plan was we knew we had to work and we have to maintain a lifestyle working travel balance, and our plan was to get up to the Pilbara, work a few months, earn a bit of coin, keep us in the green, and that worked. It was pretty good. It was more work than we thought we'd have, and it was just flat out. We had a few little opportunities to get out and do some fishing and a bit of filming and stuff, but it was
as much as we'd hoped.
But it was just busy. So we started the year out at Arthur River, which was awesome. We got to play with a lot of animals, fight some fires in heat waves, and nieces and nephews got to come out and spend some time with us, and it was good just to relax. I did a bit of knife making and did some sheep stuff and met some cool people in the town, and it was great. It was really good, and that's why we're going back and doing it again. And then we sort of packed up everything and headed south. Kel's old man has a block down at Esperance, and we sort of used that as a starting point and zigzagged our way. Yeah, we hit a kangaroo, which we're still waiting to get repaired, which will be next month, so just before Christmas. So yeah, we've just been rolling with a damaged, panelled up D-Max for nearly a year. So yeah, we zigzagged through the bottom coast, which is awesome. It's not that far from where we live, but it's all these places that we've never really got into or driven. We've always driven past. Yeah, so that was awesome. It was just great country. It's just amazing stuff. We've got different plans for next year in a similar sort of area, but yeah, it was awesome. And then when did we go?
Came home, regroup for a week, and then Port Gregory. So we had Easter at Port Gregory with a bunch of our mates and all their kids, which was awesome. Unfortunately, the wind followed us again, as it always does.
Everywhere.
And then started north.
Yeah, we went up to Nalu, 3 Mile Camp. We paid $70 a night there.
I think.
$74 a night.
But damn, it was a good spot.
Yeah, it was a really good spot, and that was the only time the wind was really good to us. And yeah, I just didn't really know the area and the motor. I've got an old motor and didn't really have the confidence to send it out the back of the reef on my own, sort of with no real GPS or nothing, but better set up for next time. And then we went into Stevens Camp at Warra. That was unreal.
Epic.
That whole stretch of coast is great, but yeah, Stevens Camp was awesome. Other than I couldn't put the boat in there unless you carried it over dunes.
We could have,
but it would have been a mass mission. So yeah, we might try a couple of different camp spots there next time. Ells Beach looks pretty good. I don't think you got the protection of the dunes there, but you can launch a boat there. And then we went up to Ningaloo, which was sweet as well.
Amazing.
I'm not going to say
campsite.
I'm not going to say the number of the campsite.
No.
You'll have to.
You just got to work it out yourself.
Go back and watch the video
the best one.
and work it out, and then look on Google Maps. But yeah, at Point Billy's we scored the best campsite ever.
Yeah.
It was awesome. You can
even though we didn't.
You can have your boat straight out the front of the beach. You've got your own secluded little spot. You can have a campfire. Wake up in the morning. Ningaloo Reef's right there. It's unreal. It's pretty good.
That was epic. But yeah, so we couple of nights in Onslow.
Yeah, we got chased by wind and weather and rain for the next
40 mile,
maybe week and a half, 2 weeks. Even when we got to Headland.
So we were supposed to stop at Cleaverville and do all that on the way up, but we ended up just stuck in Karratha, getting absolute pelted by rain. And so just headed straight for Headland, just to get out of it and get set up and be ready to start work. And
then that all happened pretty quick.
Yeah, I think we got there Saturday. I started work on Tuesday, and then we thought it was going to be like 2 or 3 days a week, and it was just like get in there and start working. And then within a couple of weeks they all got COVID and were crook, and Kel was running the front of the admin by herself for a bit, and it was just like thrown in the deep end and go. And then we had managers change and a few things. Joy came back, managers changed, and ended up one of the best jobs I've ever had, and I can't wait to get back up to that crew.
And it worked out good because we only had one car, and I had to get to and from my job, so it worked out pretty good for us in that sort of way. And we made the money that we had to, and we had an investment property in Mandurah. We sold that at a loss. It was a bottleneck in our whole way forward. It was good that sold in like 10 days, and we got rid of that and headed south.
Got to check out Cleaverville,
yeah, for a few days, and then met a heap of family and friends in at Shelter Bay near Steep Point there, and that's awesome. Wind again, absolutely hammered us.
Still though, for somewhere that was so windy, I feel like it was like still one of the best places. Like, you know, there's so many places that you look at and go, oh, this would be epic if there was no wind. Like, it was still awesome. Yeah. Even though it was windy.
It's good. And it's also, it's one of those places you're umming and ahhing on how much you show. I mean, we don't have a huge YouTube channel, but it's almost like, do
you want to show people this? Because I kind of like, it's hard enough to get a spot there as it is.
Yeah, so I want to...
Do you want people to know how cool it is?
And then, we ended up sort of coming back here and at the end of the year, like now, and Did a heap of mods on the van and did some diving in between, some early cray season diving. Picked up the new outboard for the tinny, and then came down to Kenny's place. So yeah, that's it, and so that's the year.
So we travelled 27,510 kilometres. We used 3,732 litres of fuel and spending $6,610.82 on fuel.
Yeah.
So averaged at 15.42 litres per 100 Ks. That's the car stuff. And then camping, we camped in 47 places over the last 12 months. And something that we're pretty stoked with was that 35 of them were new places that we hadn't stayed before. So,
and that's the thing. Like we, like a lot of people ask us, when are you doing like laps or whatever? And the answer is no. Like,
No.
Like we will eventually get over east. We might go over for some work. I want to do Tasmania for a few months. I really want to get back down to South Australia and do along the bottom there. There's just so much to do, and that's what we proved just in this last year, is that there is still so much we haven't seen, even in WA. Even like heading up to NT, do a wet season up north, that sort of stuff would be great. Do a full Barra wet season. Yeah, everything's on the cards. I asked Kelly a question a while back. Top 3 or 4 campsites you visited in the last year?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6.
No, you can only have 3 or 4.
Okay, so my top 3, I put number 1 as Stokes Inlet, down near Esperance there. It was a cool little spot. The campsites are all like super private, like in the way that they're all set up with bushes in between. I loved that. I loved that, you know, you got the inlet there, then like once we found the river, like that was cool too. Like there was just so many different options being right there.
It was like $11 a night or $8.
It's a deep-water site, so yeah, I think it was 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my number 1. And then I said Port Smith, which was awesome. That was on like the end of last year when we went up to Kununurra. Just we timed that perfectly, so we were there when the lagoon was full in the middle of the day, so you can't go wrong with beach to yourself and midday beers every day. Or see, this number 3, I put like 3 of them. Okay, I'll make it Stevens Camp because I did really like it at Warrawa. Would be then my 3rd one. Top 3?
Do I start at 3 or number 1?
I started with my number 1, but you can do what you want.
I'll start from 3. Was Bremer Bay, and yeah, I thought I'd throw a caravan park in there.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, just because location of Bremer Bay, it was one of those
brewery.
We were stuck there because the Alco off-road hitch broke, and we were stuck there for 4 or 5 days, 6 days maybe. The salmon season was just starting up, and we got to explore a little bit of that, and it's got a brewery down the road. It's got another good pub down the road. I got into the bay. It was lightning and thunder everywhere.
That was pretty funny.
But I went squidding and got a couple of squid, and yeah, it was a great spot. 2, Stevens Camp, Warra. We've talked about that. Yeah, it's just a good spot, good all-rounder. There's no sanctuary there, so it means you can go fishing. And number 1 was Point Billy's at Ningaloo for me.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. It's one of those places, can be really shit on a shit day. And we found that out on the last day we were there. It was absolutely hissing wind. It had undermined all the caravan and everything, but it has the potential on a really good day to be awesome. It's still got a really shit track in, which I love. It sort of keeps the punters out, but yeah, I like it. You can get there's a dump point right there, and there's a water source for bore water at the turn off to Point Billy's as well, which is only like a K from the campsite, so you can just bring your drinking and cooking water in.
The other thing that Jed came up with was things that we realised you can live without over the last 12 months, and things that we realised you can't live without. So things that you can live without, I've literally only got one thing
You can live without.
that I realised from home I can live without.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of things obviously I can live without, but like if I looked around before we left and like what am I gonna miss was our couch. Anyone who ever sat in our couch is gonna understand that.
It was a fucking good couch.
It was called the Hustler. That is the actual style name. We did not make that up. But it was the best couch in the world. It lives on with some friends of ours, which is awesome. Love that they have it. But literally, that's the only thing I'm like, I can live without it. I didn't think I could, but I can.
Maybe an obvious one, but full-time work.
Yep.
Yeah, like a lot of people have different opinions on how we maintain this lifestyle. Yeah, you can quite easily live without full-time work if you have your ducks in a row, plan and save properly, needs and wants and all that sort of stuff. And we're not super Scrooges. We want to have a beer at a pub, go to a beer at a pub, whatever. It just means we've got to work a bit harder later on. I do. The other thing is like your normal routine as well, which kind of goes in with full-time work. This might even seem weird, but I used to love gaming. I was a closet gamer.
There was nothing closet about it.
No, well, headphones on. But yeah, we had a bit of a routine with a few mates of ours.
Monday night, game night.
Friday night,
if everyone's home, game night.
Killing shit. But yeah, it was a good social thing with me and a few of my close mates. It was actually good.
I actually did think you were going to miss it a lot more than you have.
And the other thing is, while I'm on that, is things. Is clutter. Things and clutter. Like, you realise that we sold everything. We have a sea container at a mate's farm with a few bits and pieces in it. It was scary at the time, like getting rid of everything. But it was, and then it became like really therapeutic.
The idea of it was scary for me. I'm a bit of a hoarder.
And
I like to keep
trinkets,
sentimental stuff.
Yeah.
That really is not sentimental, and it really gave me a thing of just like nope,
birthday
it's gone.
cards.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
This will go a lot longer if I start justifying all of that.
Yeah. But it really makes you prioritise, especially when you travel and your whole life is in that caravan four-wheel drive combo. It really makes you prioritise like hobbies and stuff and what you can take and how much. And I do knife sharpening on the road, and like that's got to be compact and everything has to be minimal. I can't take 20 rods, and I tried. Doesn't really work. So yeah, the other question I asked.
Things you can't live without.
Things you can't live without on the road.
I went really corny. I said you.
Oh, shit. I'll quickly write Kelly.
I know, right? I'm like, fuck, he's gonna not have me on the list, that's for sure. But otherwise he would have gone hungry a fair bit. So then I had the fire pit. Fucking love the fire pit. Love being able to cook.
It's right here next to me.
I had our soda stream. Fucking love the soda stream.
Yeah,
so much easier. And obviously carrying bulk soda water is just not practical. So the soda stream has been amazing.
Yeah.
This one's going to sound ridiculous, and I think a lot of people that don't travel full time, it probably sounds stupid. But one thing like I can't or don't want to live without is mobile phone coverage.
Yeah, true.
It is really freaking frustrating when, I mean, it's a great thing when you are working a full-time job and you get a couple of weeks annual leave to go away with your family and you can switch everything off and, have a week out of contact and all that. But for us in what we're doing and the fact that we're doing this basically forever, hopefully.
Yeah.
Anytime we are out of phone range, it means like we've got no contact with family. It means we can't, if there's something that we want to upgrade on the van or like think that we need to like change on the van, you can't research it. You can't look into all that sort of
You
stuff.
can't buy stuff and order
You
it
can't
and send it
order
in
it,
front of you.
and send it somewhere, and
Try and
you know,
work out
all
where
those
you
sorts of things. So like I know it sounds like in the initial when you just say, "Oh, I can't live without mobile phone coverage," sounds like yeah, but
people are going to go, "Oh, really?"
yeah. But it is something that I had to put on the list because it is really frustrating not having that
It's a pain in the
internet
ass.
as a tool.
Yeah, and 100%. Like we've worked full-time jobs, and I've gone to fishing trips or whatever, and we're out of phone range. It's awesome. It's just like put your phone in the glove box. It's out of, nothing. You don't have to worry about it. Bang, done. But yeah, our lifestyle, it's pain in the ass now. Other than generic camping gear and clothing or whatever, one is the boat. We did a lap back in 2012. We had an old Land Rover Defender and a 76 Cabana Caravan we bought for $1,000. But yeah, the boat was the big one. When we travelled back then, I was like, if I'm ever travelling full time on the road, I'm not going without a boat. So yeah, we slowly, even in the year we've been on the road, we've got a new boat and a new motor. But it was, but it's what we do. It's what we like to do. It's what I like to do, and force Kelly to like to do it as well. And she's better at fishing than me most of the time. So yeah, not only is it fun and enjoyable, but a lot of times we actually live off it. We expect to get a meal. Times when we're down south, if we couldn't get the boat out, it was sort of like, well, let's go fishing because otherwise it's noodles.
Yeah.
So yeah, the boat's one of them. The fire pit, yeah, we love that fire pit. It's so good. Lithium batteries. We've just upgraded the one in the van to 200 amp hour. Yep, that's just been a learning curve. Portable solar blanket, almost a must to be able to plug into your four-wheel drive and your van. So the Bluetooth speaker, I love Bluetooth speaker. Camera gear, like obviously alcohol.
Well, I went the SodaStream, the subtle way of saying alcohol.
Fly nets, sort of weird that I thought you see people crank around with fly nets, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And then you get real bad flies, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, Stevens would have been pretty fucked without them.
Yeah, and that free camp before Stevens when we went in.
Yeah, out on the road.
Oh shit, that was terrible. A good toolkit. I'm actually redoing all that at the moment to not have 100 kilos of tools. And a fold-up boat trailer is almost, I think, if you're going to have a rooftop tinny, you need, unless you're going to go to one place every time you travel and you can just offload the boat and it's going to stay in the water. I've seen so many people struggle without a fold-up boat trailer. Spend the money, buy one, makes your life easy. So that's what it is. So we'll quickly wrap that up with the next 12 months in a nutshell. I've got 4 weeks work back at my old job. Then we've got Christmas with the family, and then we go out to farm sit. Kel's 40th is in between that.
Someone might be turning 40.
Yeah. So we have a big hoedown in our hometown. Yeah.
Back to the farm sit.
Farm sit.
February
we're not too sure. I might pick up another 4 weeks work. Otherwise
south.
We'll head south again. And then in March we'll be going down south for a couple of weeks around the sort of Bremer Bay sort of area. Chase some salmon. Yeah, now we've got the swag. We'll probably ditch the van for a few trips and do a few like 2-3 night trips in and chase the salmon along the beach and stuff. So that'd be pretty good. And then we'll start to head north again. We're not too
sure on April because of school holidays, and there's like some massive eclipse.
Oh yeah.
That's happening right in the middle of school holidays, I think. And the best viewing place in the world, I believe, is Exmouth or around the Exmouth area. So it's always crazy, that area.
Yeah.
In holidays, this is going to make it even worse. So
We're not too sure.
don't really know where we're going to end up there, but we'll work it out.
But the gist of it is we'll probably do a similar sort of zigzag trip along the coast. Hopefully get in touch with Alan again. He's already just contacted me like a week ago, and we're trying to tee up some land-based balloon fishing off the sort of Quabba sort of area. And then
Back to Headland.
Back to Headland for probably
Mid to end May.
to the end of August, so start of September. We'll be back travelling down south. We'll probably leave, I reckon, around the end of August.
Give us a couple of weeks to
Get down south, and we've got Pink Ribbon Fishing, which will start at the boat show in Perth. So raising money for the McGrath Foundation. So we'll have a whole year to plan it this year instead of a few months. So yeah, and then my old job's got a big shutdown on, and we'll hopefully both get jobs there, and that'll be super handy. And there's a caravan park just down the road, so we'll probably live there for 6 or 7 weeks, and that'll cash us up for the other thing that's 90% locked in. Is we're possibly going back to Japan to help a mate out with, she owns a bed and breakfast over there. So yeah, we'll get into some snowboarding. Our first overseas holiday in a few years. We were there back in 2012, helping her out. And then we've been back a few times. It'd be good to get back there.
Awesome to get back.
For a couple of months and help Leslie out and
eat all the food.
Yeah. So if you want a trip to Japan, hook up the Bear's Den in Huckabah, because it's awesome. And we'll look after you. I'll cook you breakfast every morning.
Shit. He's pretty good breakfast cook.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Very humble too.
And I'll teach you how to snowboard. Yeah.
Wow.
Bang.
What more do you want?
Yeah. Breakfast cooked, snowboard lesson done.
So then that takes us through to 2024. And
yeah, so that's our year, hopefully.
So 2023.
So it'd be good to look
fairly
back
well planned.
at the end of this time.
Just before we go back to Japan.
Yeah. And we'll
see how the year has panned out and whether or not
we've talked shit.
Things have happened the way we planned, or
you did nothing that you were supposed to do.
Yeah, but
yeah, that'd be good.
Whatever we do, it'll still be good.
Yep, that's it.
Cool.
That's it.
That's it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good times. I better go cook some dinner.
Better.